What's going on, guys? This is Tyler Weeb from Pro Physique, and today we're going to talk about the importance of carbohydrates. All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend doing it is whatever you do. Me and my wife, we're less than a week away from leaving for Vietnam and Thailand. So excited. Can't wait to go check out this place. Never been. We're in Vietnam for a week and a half, and then we're in Thailand for a week and a half. It's just go. It's going to be an awesome trip. Super excited. But today, I wanted to talk about the importance of everyone's favorite macronutrient, carbohydrates, the one that gets demonized the most, the one that everybody loves, the one that everyone says they have to give up, that we should cut, we should stop eating. Carbohydrates are the devil. But how important are they? Do we actually need carbohydrates in our lives? Well, the simple answer is yes. We need carbs in our lives. But why do we need carbs in our lives? Well, for one big reason. They are our main source of energy, right? Carbs fuel energy. That is what they're for. They come into the body, they're as glucose floating around in the bloodstream. The muscles will take up about 2/3 of them as glycogen, all right? And then the rest will be filtered into the liver, which then can be released at later times as the body needs them. So when you are working out, and you should be working out, especially if you have a goal of fat loss or muscle gain, you should be lifting. Carbohydrates are going to be your main source of fuel when you work out. So this basically, when you do these short bursts of energy, what's being released is the glycogen in the muscle to fuel those contractions. And so you can see that if you don't really have a lot of carbohydrates in your life, your workouts are probably going to suffer, which is not going to be good for either building muscle. You really want intensity, you really want to be pushing the weight, you really want to be progressive overloading, or B, fat loss. Well, if you just kind of come in and don't really do anything because you don't have the energy, well, you're not really doing a lot of work to help tip the balance in a caloric deficit. So that's not really in your favor. And so you do want to make sure that you are getting enough carbohydrates for your workouts. Again, whether it's building muscle or fat loss. So not only are they important for fueling your workouts, they're also going to be very important for the recovery from your workouts, all right? So I think it's pretty self-explanatory, especially when you're building muscle, we need carbohydrates, especially post-workout. What that is going to do is that's actually going to help uptake protein into the muscle to start that recovery and that muscle protein synthesis even more if you were just to have protein alone, right? There's a little transporter in carbs. When it's combined with protein, you're going to have a much easier uptake. So what you're going to be doing essentially is starting that repair system right away as soon as you can, and it's going to be a lot more efficient than if you were just to have just protein or protein fats, right? So you do want to make sure that you are getting those carbs post-workout, and that applies to either A, you're building muscle, and again, B, in a fat loss phase, you want recovery so that you can always make sure that you are bringing the intensity to your gym sessions, because that's going to be very important to continually to help create a caloric deficit. All right, so one, they're really important for your workouts. Two, sustainability. That is another huge thing. We're not here for just that quick fix. Hey, I dropped 30 pounds in 12 weeks, but then I put on 40 pounds in 6 weeks, right? That's not what we're here for. And that's what you see happens a lot when people go, oh, I'm going on a diet, so I completely cut carbohydrates. Do you know how many foods have carbohydrates in them? All of them, essentially, other than like your keto specific foods. Like a lot of protein powders, you still have a little bit of carbs in them. Like they are everywhere, and they make up a bulk of our diets. And when you cut out a whole macronutrient like carbohydrates, you're creating a system where it's probably not going to be sustainable for the majority of people. Now, yes, there are some people that can go straight keto and they can just do it. That's a rarity, right? That is not a very common thing. Most people need some type of carbohydrates in their lives, or they will be absolutely miserable. There was actually a study done, or a review, that looked at like 59 different diets or something like that, and low carb diets for sustainability weren't even in the top 10 in any of the lists, right? So you can see that while low carb diets might be effective, they're not sustainable, and that's what we want. We're here to create long-term sustainable results and lifestyle. That is a lot more important, in my opinion, than being able to drop a quick, 20 pounds, but you go right back to what you were eating and you're eating carbs again, and then you put on weight again. That doesn't seem very sustainable or very fun to me, and you just kind of start to run yourself into the ground there. And so, one, right, fueling the workouts, that's going to be so important. Two, we got the recovery aspect post workouts, right, helping with the protein, and then three, sustainability. So those three reasons right there are, in my opinion, why carbohydrates are so important to the process of whatever you are doing, fat loss or building muscle. And then, of course, another reason here is that because carbs are your primary source of fuel while you work out and you're going through the intense workout, the body will shift to fats being the primary source of energy throughout the rest of the day, right? So when you're not doing anything, you're sitting on the couch, doing whatever, your body is primarily using fats because we are using carbohydrates more for our workouts. And so it kind of comes down to the question of, would you rather burn fat for an hour or would you rather burn fat for 23 hours? Now, I'm not saying that those numbers are exact, but you get the idea, right? Just because it's awesome if we burn fat for an hour and a half, but I think I'd rather burn fat throughout the rest of the day than for that short period of time when I'm in the gym. So I think that's another reason why higher carbohydrate diets are going to be a lot better for fat loss. And then we're not so worried about muscle building or that aspect with muscle building because your carbs are continually going up and we're kind of eating a little bit more throughout the day. But for fat loss purposes, that right there is a huge reason why we should have a higher carbohydrate diet. Now, I'm not talking about like 700 grams of carbs like for your diet, but more so the ratios of fat to carbohydrates. So that ratio of carbohydrates should be higher than the fats. Now we know why carbohydrates are important, but what about sugar? Is sugar okay with me? Is sugar bad? I did do a video on that a few weeks back, so you can go ahead and check that out. But in a short-term answer, no. Sugar is not inherently bad for you. Now, it is recommended that you should keep your added sugar intake under about 25% of your total calories each day. Now, we're talking things like diet soda, there's no sugar in that, but regular soda, baked goods, stuff like that, candy. Those type of added sugars should be kept under 25% of your total calories. But if you do find yourself, going over occasionally that 25%, you should be okay. But it's probably a good idea to still get the majority of your carbohydrates from whole nutrient-dense sources. So sugar inherently bad? No, but you should still be careful with how much you're consuming. And then finally, we get down into fiber. So fiber is still a very important part of the process, again, of building muscle, your overall health, fat loss. But we need to be careful with how much we are eating. We can have too much fiber. All right, so fiber, but we're looking at about 10 grams per every 1,000 calories. So really right in that 20 grams to 40, 45, but that's probably pushing it for a lot of people, and it's probably going to actually be a little too rough on the stomach and the digestion system. So the importance of fiber really can't be understated, right? We have, the weight management because it's going to slow down, and these are kind of the two together. You have weight management because it slows down digestion, and it's kind of hard to overeat high fibrous foods. You have the health of the GI tract, especially the large intestine, aka helps you poop better and more frequently, and helps with the absorption of nutrients. And so fiber is just an overall important thing that we need to make sure that we are including in our diet. So having a variety of veggies, fruit, other whole grains is always a great idea, and that should help keep the added sugars under control as well, because you will be a little bit more full because of the slowed down digestion. All right, guys, so as you can see, carbohydrates is a very important macronutrient. Probably doesn't deserve the demonization that it does, and should really never be absolutely cut out from a diet. And again, remember, ratio of carbs to fats should be higher or more in favor of carbohydrates if you're looking for fat loss, building muscle for sure, and just overall health. So unless you're one of those crazy people who can do keto and not miss carbohydrates and actually sustain it for life. So yeah, guys, remember, we're here for long-term sustainable results and lifestyle, and the data backs it up. Higher carbohydrates does help with that, but you do need to be careful because they are very easy to overeat. All right, guys, that is everything. Really appreciate you watching. If you enjoy the content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be going over protein and carbs here this week, the importance of the other two macronutrients and what they can do for you. So be sure to be on the lookout for those, and have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll talk soon.